What is going on, guys? It is Jamil with MILMID Studios. Thank you so much for tuning in to another video. Today we're going to be looking at the new RF 28mm f2.8. I got it pretty early when it released, and the 15 to 35 f2.8, but we're going to be shooting at 28. We're going to do a few portraits. We're going to test out the bokeh in both these lenses. We may even bring out the 85 1.2 and just compare the bokeh with that lens. So we have the 15 to 35 here that we're going to be shooting at 28 mil. And I would show you the 28, but it's on my camera right now. So you may notice my shirt is a little tight. That's not on purpose. I went upstairs and I grabbed my MILMID Studios t-shirt, and I realized that I actually grabbed Emily's. So I definitely have to lose some weight if I'm gonna wear this shirt. But before we get into the video, guys, be sure to follow me on Instagram at MILMID Studios. That's my main page. I do have a black and white photography page, and I will be featuring predominantly my Leica Q2 monochrome photos. The photos that are on there right now were taken from the Canon R3, and I do have a few from the Leica, so you're going to be seeing a lot more from the Leica Q2 monochrome. Super excited about that. And I actually got a Tamron yellow filter today. I did some street photography with this guy. Be sure to check out that video with the red filter. And I noticed, actually, just a real tangent, real quick, Emily has really blue eyes, and when I photograph her with the red filter, it's like her eyes are black. So keep that in mind, and if you guys want to see a comparison between the red filter, the mist filter, and the yellow filter on the Leica Q2, be sure to let me know. And finally, guys, if you want to support the channel, there are ways to do so in my description. You can use my promo code MILMID at www.enhancer.com to get 10% off at checkout. And you can use my link to get your own Brevity Jumper backpack, which I reviewed recently. Be sure to check that out. Let's get right into the pictures. All right, guys, jumping right into the pictures. The first one here is from the RF 15 to 35, shot at 28 millimeters. The settings, as seen on the screen, 1/125th of a second, aperture of f2.8, ISO of 320. The second picture here is from the Canon RF 28mm. All the settings are the same, and for the duration of this little experiment, I tried to maintain perfect exposure. So there may be slight deviations, but nothing crazy. We're going to put these pictures stacked up beside each other. On the left-hand side is the 15 to 35. The right-hand side is the 28mm. You can see the bokeh. We'll get a little closer to the bokeh in a minute here. But let's see some general differences between the two. They're quite similar. I guess on the left-hand side, my face might have been a little bit closer to the camera. That's why my head looks so big. One slight change, and this could have been literally by chance, but on the 15 to 35, my black t-shirt, it actually looks darker than the 28mm. I might have to do some further testing to see how the colors stack up and the shades and whatnot. But generally speaking, guys, this looks pretty good in terms of quality for both images. And I would definitely say that these are comparable images. So let's actually punch into 150% zoom. And here you have it. You can see the bokeh a little bit closer, which is very comparable. The characteristics of the bokeh, very, very comparable. Still, in terms of the image quality, I can't see much of a difference. You guys let me know in the comments what you think about these two images, both shot at 2.8 here. So let's take a look right above my head. The bokeh, very comparable bokeh, like almost spot on, I would say. If we look at the second bokeh ball, on the 15 to 35, it does look rounder than the second bokeh ball from the left on the 28mm. That is one difference that I would say. I will have to give the quality of bokeh to the 15 to 35 very, very close, very, very similar. That second bokeh ball from the left, you have a nice, perfect round bokeh ball. Compared to the 28, it's a little distorted, looks a little funky, but very, very, very close in terms of bokeh. Okay, guys, let's jump right into the eyes. On the top, we're going to have the 15 to 35. The bottom, we're going to have the 28. Now, make sure you're watching in 4K, guys, but from where I'm sitting, these are very close. As a matter of fact, if you look at my crow's feet on the left side of the image, on the 28, it actually looks sharper. There's more detail on the 28mm when you're looking at my wrinkles, my wrinkly eyes, compared to the 15 to 35. That is actually quite interesting. So I guess in terms of my vanity, I would much rather have the 15 to 35. But if we're talking about clarity,
I'm going to have to give it to the 28 mil on this image shot at 2.8. Even on the right-hand side, even though my crow's feet are in shadow, on the right-hand side, the 28 has more clarity and more texture and more character than the 15 to 35 shot at 28 mil. Otherwise, both images are beautiful, but I do have to give the 28 the edge when it comes to clarity for this image. Okay, so now we're going to look at these lenses shooting at 5.6. On the left is the 15 to 35, on the right is the 28 mil. As you can see, my ISO on the right was maybe about a stop higher than the left, so that's why the right does look a little bit brighter. So that was an oversight on my end, but in terms of quality and clarity, that won't be an issue here. So let's get a little bit closer. We're just under 200% zoom. Again, from this distance, I mean, the images look very comparable, other than the fact that the right is slightly more exposed. Like I said, at this zoom, I think the images both look very, very comparable. Now let's take a look at the eyes here. And at 5.6, guys, I know that I gave the edge to the 28 when we're shooting at 2.8, but at 5.6, this could very well be a wash. I would almost say this is completely a wash. I'm looking at my crow's feet, I'm looking at my wrinkly eyes, and yeah, both images here at 5.6 are extremely comparable. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you can see any deviation or if you can see any discrepancy between the two, let me know. I'm very curious. But based on my real-time, live viewing of these images, I would say they are very, very comparable. It's a wash for 5.6 in my mind. Now let's take a look at the 85 mil. Now all of these images are shot at f2.8, okay? On the far left side, we have the 15 to 35 mil, the middle is a 28, and the right-hand side is the 85. Obviously, just look at the symmetry of my face, the shape of my face in the 85. Very different from what you get in the 15 to 35 or 28 millimeter range. There's no question about it, the bokeh is going to be way more beautiful on that DS lens, the 85-1.2 DS, with a defocus smoothing. But still, the bokeh on both the 15 to 35 and the 28, they're quite nice. As we said, I did give the edge to the 15 to 35 for bokeh balls. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful images. I love that 85. Let's take a look at what the 85 mil looks like when shot at 1.2. Let's just do a little transition here. The bokeh just gets a lot more buttery. The background gets a lot more buttery. Love this 85 lens, but I know this is not a video about the 85, so let's move on. I just wanted to show you guys. So here are these three images from these three different lenses pushed in at 205%. Now, I shot all of these except the 85 mil at 5.6. When I looked at the 5.6 image on the 85 1.2, I realized it was out of focus. I missed my eyes. So this image on the right-hand side is actually a f1.2. So to be clear, the 15 to 35 and the 28 millimeter are both shot at 5.6, whereas the 85 is shot at f1.2. At 1.2, you expect the image to be a little bit softer, but I'm looking at this 85 mil and that thing is crispy. All these images are unedited and just beautiful. All right, guys, so overall, what do I think? I think the 28 millimeter is an excellent lens. It is a small lens that packs a punch. In this studio setting, the image quality, I have to give the edge to the 28 mil. And obviously there could be little discrepancies in terms of focus and possibly missing focus like I missed with the 85 when shooting at 5.6. But from what I saw when I zoomed in, I have to give the edge to the 28 when it comes to image quality over the 15 to 35. Okay, when it comes to bokeh, I give it to the 15 to 35. It's very close though. But you know, overall versatility, the ability to have stabilization, those are benefits that you get in that zoom lens. Generally speaking, primes are sharper, and I think that's what we saw here today. But both are good lenses. For a nice, reasonable price, you can get the 28 mil to give you really good wide images that you're able to shoot portraits with if you want. I think it's a great lens. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you like these sorts of videos, if you want to see more, if you want to see some POV street photography, stranger portraits, all that good stuff, guys. I really do appreciate your support. Remember, the best gear is the gear you have, and the best photos are the ones you take. Don't forget to keep on shooting.